Donald Trump and Barack Obama ended up at the same barber shop. As they sat there, each being worked on by a different barber, not a word was spoken. The barbers were both afraid to start a conversation, for fear that it would turn nasty. As the barbers finished their shaves in silence, the one who had Trump in his chair reached for the aftershave. But Donald was quick to stop him, jokingly saying, "No thanks. My wife, Melania, will smell that and think I've been in a brothel." The second barber turned to Barack and said, "How about you, Mr. Obama?" Barack replied, "Go right ahead, my wife, Michelle, doesn't know what the inside of a brothel smells like." A day after his election victory, President-elect Donald Trump met with President Obama in the Oval Office of the White House. After drinking several glasses of beer, he asked Obama if he could use his personal bathroom. He was astonished to see that the president had a solid gold urinal. That afternoon, Trump told Melania about the urinal. "Just think," he said, "when I move in, I'll get to have a gold urinal." Later, when Melania had lunch with Michelle Obama, she told Michelle how impressed Donnie had been with his discovery of a gold urinal in the president's private bathroom. That evening, Barack and Michelle were getting ready for bed. Michelle turned to Barack and said, "Guess who peed in your saxophone?" Kim Jong-un is sitting in his office. He proudly tells his advisors, "North Korea will be the first country to send people to the sun." His advisors break out in applause. Meanwhile, Donald Trump is watching this live on TV. He calls Kim Jong-un and asks him, "How are you going to send people to the sun? It's too hot." Kim Jong-un replies by saying to his advisors, "What an idiot! We can send them at night." His advisors break out in applause. On hearing this, Donald Trump says to his advisors, "What an idiot! There is no sun at night." Today I was at the bookstore. As I was wandering around, the clerk stopped me and offered to help me. I imagine I didn't look like his normal clientele, so I asked, "Do you have a copy of Donald Trump's book on his U.S. immigration policy regarding Muslims and illegal Mexicans?" The clerk angrily said, "Fuck off, get out and stay out." I said, "Yes, that's the one. Do you have it in paperback?" God asks Bush, "What do you believe in?" Bush answers, "I believe in the free market and the strong American nation." "Very well," says God. "Come sit to my right." Next, God asks Obama, "What do you believe in?" Obama answers, "I believe in the power of democracy and equal rights for all." "Good," says God. "You shall sit to my left." Finally, God asks Trump, "What do you believe in?" Trump answers, "I believe you're sitting in my chair." Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders are sitting in a bar. A guy walks in and asks the barman, "Isn't that Trump and Sanders sitting over there?" The bartender says, "Yep, that's them." So the guy walks over and says, "Wow, this is a real honor. What are you guys doing in here?" Trump says, "We're planning WW3. The guy says, "Really? What's going to happen?" Trump says, "Well, we're going to kill 140 million Muslims and one blonde with big tits." The guy exclaimed, "A blonde with big tits? Why kill a blonde with big tits?" Trump turns to Sanders and says, "See, I told you, no one gives a shit about the 140 million Muslims." Trump was visiting an elementary school class. He asked the class to give an example of a tragedy. A boy raised his hand. "Boy, my auntie died last week. That was a tragedy." Trump, No, believe me, that was a loss, not a tragedy." Girl raises her hand. Girl, my daddy fell off a ladder and broke his arm. It was a tragedy. Trump, no, my dear, that was an accident. Another girl raises her hand. Girl, if you were flying in an airplane and a missile shot it down, that would be a tragedy. Trump responded, "Very good. Tell the class why that is a tragedy." "Well, Mr. Trump, it was certainly no loss, and I am sure it was not an accident." President Trump is in Israel for a Mideast summit. He takes ill and dies. The local officials tell his aides that they could return the body to America, but to honor the president they offer to bury him there in the Holy Land. The aides confer and tell the official that they will take the body home. The official asks why they would do that rather than accept the immense gift of burial in the Holy Land. The aides reply, "A long time ago someone was buried here and arose 3 days later. We can't take that chance." During a dull White House dinner, Melania Trump leaned over to chat with Secretary of State Tillerson. "I bought Donald a parrot for his birthday. That bird is so smart. Donald has already taught him to say over 200 words. Very impressive," said Tillerson. "But you do realize he just speaks the words. He doesn't really understand what they all mean." "Oh, I know," replied Melania. "But neither does the parrot." Donald is walking out of the White House and heading toward his limo when a possible assassin steps forward and aims a gun. A Secret Service agent, new on the job, shouts, "Mickey Mouse!" This startles the would-be assassin and he is captured. Later, the Secret Service agent's supervisor takes him aside and asks, "What in the hell made you shout Mickey Mouse?" Blushing, the agent replies, "I got nervous. I meant to shout Donald, duck." The Pope and Trump are on the same stage in Yankee Stadium in front of a huge crowd. The Pope leans towards Trump and says, "Do you know that with one little wave of my hand I can make every person in this crowd go wild with joy? This joy will not be a momentary display but will go deep into their hearts, and they'll forever speak of this day and rejoice." Trump replied, "I seriously doubt that. With one little wave of your hand show me." So the Pope backhanded him and knocked him off the stage. And the crowd roared and cheered wildly, and there was happiness throughout the land. Trump was in the Oval Office at 3 a.m., tweeting away. Suddenly, Satan appeared in front of him. "Donald, I have a proposition," the Prince of Darkness said. "I will give you even more power and wealth than you can imagine, if you give me your soul." Trump sat back a moment and asked, "What's the catch?"